Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're going to be doing a quick desktop recording of this PC that I have for sale. I previously uploaded a video. It was a little bit long toothed. It was long winded. It's pretty long. I want to cut it down, condense it down here. So we're going to go really quickly and take a look at all the system specs here, as well as some of the software. We're going to validate the hardware real quick. So first things first, let's go into the system device manager. So with the device manager, we can see that we have two hard drives. We have the 128GB SSD, that's a root drive, and then we have the 1TB Western Digital storage drive, that's a HDD 7200 RPM. For our display adapter, we have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1063 gig. We have a DVD ROM here. We look down here at the processor. We can see this is the Intel Core i7-2600. Its base clock is 2.8 gigahertz across 8 cores here, but if we look into our settings here, the device settings here, we can see that it boosts up to 3.8 gigahertz. We have 8 gigs of DDR3 Hyper-Fury X RAM installed by Kingston. And if we look down here at the Windows, we can see it's Windows 10 Pro version 1803. So it's the latest and greatest version of Windows, all updated, everything you need ready to go. The key is a legit key. It's an actually activated copy of Windows 10 Pro. And I get my keys from SCD Keys website, a European website. They sell keys for really cheap. So my suggestion is never go with a hacked copy of Windows or a little the key loaders that will automatically generate a key for you. Just buy a key. It's like $15 tops, and it's a legit way to go. Okay, now that's out of the way. We're going to look at some of the programs that we have here on the task manager, or excuse me, the taskbar. We have our regular file browser here, so we can look at all of the our local files. Our sound volume mixer here. We can control our sounds for each program individually. Our task manager here to keep an eye on performance and startup processes, any other processes that are loading. If something is bugging out, we can kill it through here. We can keep an eye on all of our hardware. And then we got voice meter. I'm just using this right now so that I can record this audio. But it's a good little program to output all your audio to different speakers if you have multiple speakers hooked up. Next, we have hardware monitor. This is just a good little utility to keep track of all your hardware. I also have CPU and GPU-Z on here. So we just open those up. Oops. No Steam on accident. Okay, GPU-Z, we can see this is GeForce GTX 1063 gig. CPU-Z, we can see this Intel Core i7-2600. 8 megs of L3 cache. The motherboard here is the Z77D3H from Gigabyte. 8 gigs of RAM in dual channel. Clocked at 800 megahertz, so it's an uptick, downtick, which is a total of 1600 megahertz. And again, we can see the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1063 gig right there. It is a OEM card from Hewlett Packard, so it's not flashy or anything like that, but it is indeed a GTX 1060. So more than enough performance for 1080p gaming, normal to high detail. Moving along, we have our web browsers here. Nothing really special to talk about here, except that we have uBlock Origin and video downloaders and stuff like that on as our extensions for Chrome and Firefox, so you can rip videos straight from the website, and then we can also block any kind of ads. That's the first layer of protection. A lot of virus and spywares, you can catch those by clicking on the wrong thing. So ad blocker is going to help with that. We have VLC Media Player. It's just the default media player for this system. I use it for all my systems. It's better than Windows Media Player. It has a lot of utility to it, but the main thing is that it plays pretty much any kind of file format. Next, we have Audacity. Audacity is just like a really simple, easy to use audio editing program. So we can cut and edit audio. If you're doing a voiceover or some vocals or something like that, you're not going to be the next Dr. Dre with a program like this, but it's a good place to start and get your feet wet when it comes to audio editing. Next, we have Paint.net. This is also a good place to start for Photoshop. It's free to use Photoshop. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but it also has a lot of depth to it. It's got a lot of effects you can use, and you can plug it. You can download some plugins and get even better effects. But for the most part, I use this to touch up any kind of photos or make my thumbnails for YouTube. It's highly functional and highly simple at the same time. Highly recommended. Next we have DaVinci Resolve. This is a open source public beta from Blackmagic Design. It's for video editing. It's really professional stuff. It's free to use. It gets the job done. I use it to edit all my videos for YouTube or just like family videos or whatever the case may be. It has a lot of functionality to it, and again, you can plug in all your different Visual Studio plugins and stuff like that. But yeah, once this loads in all the plugins that I have. Alright, we can open up a new project here, and you can kind of tell just by looking at it, this is gonna get the job done for any kind of editing that you want to do, color correction, editing, doing media pools, and then finally outputting. It also has functionality with Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, Pro Tools, stuff like that. So it's a pretty sweet, free to use video editor. I highly recommend it. Next we have OBS. OBS is what I'm currently using to capture this screen capture here, so that we can see everything that's happening on the screen. It's great for doing any kind of production or broadcasting production. OBS stands for Open Broadcasting Software, so it's open source, it's free to use. There's other versions of this, but mainly like if you want to become a streamer or make YouTube tutorials or something like that, this is one of the best programs to download and get yourself started. A lot of professionals use it. Next we have Steam. Just have it on here if you're going to load your Steam library up and log into your Steam account, or if you're new to PC gaming, Steam is the place to start for getting games onto your computer. It's a huge marketplace. All your friends, you can add your friends and stuff like that. And the Discord, we got Discord on here too as well. Discord is like Skype meets social media. It's pretty good utility to have. I'm actually not connected to the internet right now, so no point in opening that up. Now for the meat and potatoes of the video. I have on here Launchbox. This is a really nice front-end emulator. Front-end for emulators. If we open it up here and launch it up, as you can see here, we got all kinds of different games that we can load up and play. All you got to do is click into it, and you can start playing. This PC is going to come with an Xbox 360 controller, and that's how all these games are played. They're binded to the Xbox 360 controller. You can get your own controller and plug it in and set the emulators and set up all your controls however you like. It's totally customizable, but for the most part, I have it all set up, and it's pretty intuitive and easy to use. So let's just do a quick demo of some of the games that are on here. So for the Nintendo 64, all you got to do is just click in. It opens it up, and we're emulating the game. And then grab my controller here. Oops, pressed the wrong button. Gotta get Toad. Gotta have Toad, man. He's the best. Okay, and as you can see, we're loaded into a game here, and we can play it. You can hook up multiple controllers, and that was a horrible start. You can hook up multiple controllers and play this multiplayer. Tons of fun. Lots of nostalgia here playing these old games. The thing about it is we got tons and tons of them. Oh. Alright. I'm getting too wrapped up in that. Alright, that's Nintendo 64. Nintendo, that's easy, super easy to emulate. I'm not going to go into that. We got the DS here. All you got to do is just click in and start playing. And the DS has that dual screen, has the touchscreen on the bottom and the regular screen on top. So what you do is you move your mouse around and you can click. You could click to emulate touching the screen there. As you can see, just move around, talk to somebody here. Alright, cool. So that's the DS, Game Boy Advance, lots of Pokemon here, some other games too. And what the beauty about this is that you can import more ROM files to this and set up your pictures, download pictures and stuff, and set it up to where you can look at the front and back of the game case there. And we can look at this and we have information about the game. You could rate it yourself and stuff like that, play count, everything like that. So it's a really cool program. Let's do the GameCube and the Nintendo Wii. For the GameCube, I'll just open up. We already did Mario Kart, so let's do Super Smash Bros. Here, and just click right into it. It'll boot up, and it's pretty much just as good as if you were playing the actual system itself. Keep pressing the wrong button. Choose your character. Lead. Versus Kirby. Ready? Go. I suck at this game. Alright, there we go. Alright, so you can see GameCube runs perfectly fine. The Nintendo Wii is the same here. Let's open up Super Smash Bros. And for the Wii, a lot of games require the Wiimote, but there are some games that can just emulate the GameCube controller, the GameCube controller. So I just have a couple games on there that don't require Wiimotes. There is a way to set it up, but it's a little complicated, and I'm not going to include all that. But classic mode. Versus Sheep. And again, you can hook up multiple controllers, set them up, and you can play this, multiplayer. Alright. So as you can see, it runs perfectly fine. Sega Genesis, the PlayStation, all that stuff's going to run just as well. The PlayStation is probably one of the harder systems to emulate, but it just requires more compute power, and with this PC we're able to do that no problem. So let me just load up a game here so that we can see what's something we can get right into the action right away. Tony Hawk, I guess. full window for this. Turn that down. Oh man. So, as you can see, it runs perfectly fine. Like I said, PlayStation 2 is probably the harder emulators to get right, but I have it all set up and everything like that. So, yeah, this kind of shows the gaming potential with this. For any game that you're interested in playing, I would suggest typing into YouTube the game that you want to play, and then GTX 1060 3 gig, because that's the graphics card in this PC, and then you can get an idea of how each game is going to run. Like I said, at 1080p resolution on normal to high detail, this is going to crush pretty much every game that's out right now. There's some obscure titles that may not be played the best on the 1060, but those are very few and far between. So thanks for checking it out, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You're welcome to come check this out in person, where I can do a more in-depth demo of this PC and what it's capable of. But until then, we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.